Welcome back, Jax. My name is Snack, and today we're checking out some more stories with overall entitlement issues. This story began a while back, but was recently collected in all its updates together. It starts as, my best friend is too handsy with my boyfriend, and I think it's inappropriate. Our parents are great friends, so we grew up together, and she kind of had my back in high school. Long story short, on the teenager food chain, she was on top, and I should be on the bottom. But nobody messed with me because I was Jessie's friend. Now, Jessie is one of those people who require attention. I never minded though. I mean, nobody's perfect, right? But now that I have my first real boyfriend, she doesn't know how to behave. Every time we are together, she is really handsy, always touching his arms, running fingers through his hair, complimenting him. And now she even started with prank spankings on the butt, you know? Like, I just feel really uncomfortable with it. Maybe it's normal. I mean, Jessie has a lot of guy friends, so maybe this is okay. My boyfriend never thought much of it either. Am I just overreacting? She is super pretty, so maybe I'm just jealous. But anyway, yesterday something really threw me off. Boyfriend had to do some work and I had a book thing, a hobby. So we decided to meet later at a friend's house. They were getting together to drink and so on. Boyfriend finishes work early and calls me. But I don't really need him to come over to the book thing. I know he doesn't like it. So I just tell him to go to the friend's house. Then I start getting texts from Jessie like,
"Girl, you gotta come to this party now. Your boyfriend is wasted, lol. We're so drunk, you need to come and stop us. Oh, I can't behave myself if you don't get here soon."
And so on. The book thing took longer than I thought, and I was just getting mad and madder, but I am a very non-confrontational person, so I deal with it. I call my boyfriend when it's over, because I don't feel like going to this party anymore, but I was his ride, so I ask him if he needs me to come pick him up. He says, sure. I get there, and I don't even go inside. I am ready to release the hounds of hell on him. But he gets in my car, and he is stone cold sober. I ask him if he was drinking, and then show him Jessie's texts. He gets super upset and says she was lying. He wasn't even hanging directly with her, but catching up with a friend who just came back to town. He says I should have texted him, letting him know what she was saying so he could confront her about it, since you don't ever seem to be able to give that girl some boundaries. His words. So now I am thinking maybe I should talk to Jessie, but maybe she was just drunk and annoying me because she wanted me there. I don't know. I mean, this girl was really nice to me growing up when she could have been a bitch. I don't like how she behaves around him, but at the same time, I don't want it to look like I don't trust her. Is there a polite way of going about it? Or should I maybe wait and see if this happens again? Am I overreacting? So as comments say, it's kind of comforting to know that the boyfriend clearly does mind the way she behaves by mentioning to OP that she clearly doesn't seem to bother giving her friend boundaries. And universally, everyone believes that absolutely you should talk to Jessie about this. This is clearly crossing a line that even the boyfriend is getting uncomfortable with. So a day later, OP posts an update, and what has she learned after confronting Jessie? So my 24 female best friend, 24 as well, says I owe her everything I have, including my boyfriend. Last night, we were alone because she wanted me to help her choose clothes for an event. I was at her place, so I thought I should say something. I wanted to say something. I was very polite and just said that I knew she meant no harm, but I didn't feel good about it. So I asked her if she could tone it down. I should have said stop, but I guess I'm weak. She didn't say really anything mean, but her attitude was a bit off, I think. She was looking at me in a scornful kind of way, and the way she smiled once I was done talking, it just felt weird. She didn't say anything else but okay, and we just moved on to choosing her clothes, and I left after. We were supposed to go get something to eat, but she said she was tired. I am not dumb. She was hurt. So I texted a common friend, more her friend than mine, and without getting into details, I just told him that I talked to Jess about something that was important to me, but that I was afraid she may have gotten the wrong idea from. The common friend said, "Look, I don't want to get involved, but you should watch it. I asked what he meant. He said, nothing, just watch it. But a little while after that, he texts me back and says, change my mind, I do want to get involved. And sends me a bunch of prints of texts going back and forth between him and Jessie. It basically starts with him asking her if the two of us had a fight, because I was worried. He was kind with his words. I don't mind him stepping in. And then just a non-stop stream of her being horrible. She says I had a big mouth and was judging her behavior because I'm a prude who doesn't know how to be around guys. How she taught me everything I know about having a life, and how dare I tell her what she can or cannot do, or how I should thank her for even having a boyfriend at all. The common friend actually called her out for being rude and no friend of mine. After the prince, he told me, I'm done with her. I give up, and you should watch it. He also said it was okay if I told her I had the prince. I mean, I didn't though. I didn't know what to say. I mean, she's not 100% wrong, but even though I know that, it really hurts to read those. This morning, I wake up and see she texted me late at night. She says she knows Pete sent me the prince and she didn't mean to be rude, but it's ridiculous that I am jealous of her because if she wanted my boyfriend, she could just have him.
You want me to prove it?
So I'm being silly and should drop it, is what she meant. She ends it with kisses and a joke. So I don't know if she was being playful, apologizing, threatening, or being pragmatical. I didn't answer her yet. I don't know what to say. Should I even say something, or should I just let it go? I mean, I wish I could talk to someone about this, but I am very private. I usually go to Jessie with these things. Help! So clearly OP is being antagonistic and clearly in the wrong, projecting such diabolical behavior and intentions onto innocent Jessie. I mean, she ended her text message with kisses and a joke. Jokes are funny, and you only kiss people you like, so clearly Jessie is totally fine here. So yeah, obviously, toxic friend, drop them. Not at all worth your time. Just gotta love that blatant disrespect too to your boyfriend's autonomy and ability as a fellow human being. Like, the boyfriend has no say or personal ability in what he is attracted to and who he sleeps with or who he's with. It's Jessie who gets to decide that. But yeah, despite people pointing out that clearly she just is so disrespectful to you and your partner, OP still has to think, well, is it bad that I am hoping that she meant it as a joke? I am not saying it was a good one, it was a bad one and she should apologize for it, but maybe she didn't mean it? OP, stop! Stop giving them a chance! Do you just completely forget the rant she made to someone who, under her understanding, was something completely out of earshot of you? Something she was completely admitting and blatantly smearing about you with the idea that you were never going to hear her say it. I mean, goddamn, you're fawning a little too much over here. Now, ultimately, OP does, fawn over everyone's advice, which, you know, I guess in this case it is good to fawn over when other people are confronting you with an alternate opinion. Opie continuing to say that, as for my boyfriend, I think he would turn her down quite fast. He doesn't really like her. He just hangs with her because of me. He's always saying that he'd rather not at all, so it's unlikely that they'd be alone together, but I will talk to him. Thanks for the heads up. And so that brings us to the satisfying conclusion 2 days later. Opie finally develops a spine and lets her boyfriend know just how scummy her friend actually is. My boyfriend is sleeping with her. A friend convinced some other friends to send me prints of texts between themselves and either my boyfriend or best friend. They are pretty clear. I confronted my boyfriend. He looked lost, said he loves me and it was just intimacy. He says Jessie kept throwing herself at him, teasing him, and he said he didn't like her, but I still wanted to hang. Jesus Christ, I literally spent a solid 30 seconds defending this man's ability to be a self-thinking human being, and he... I try to advocate for, men being considered human beings too, and not just these autonomous, lifeless, horny machines in the cog of society, but God damn, do some guys make it hard for me to, speak against that. He said he just slept with her to see if she would move on and leave him alone, and that it only happened a couple of times. Says he won't do it anymore, he doesn't even like her, he loves me, asking me to please forgive him. From the texts, once I finally made it through them all, I think that Jessie went to the party where me and boyfriend met because she wanted to hook up with him. She had it bad for him, but he didn't feel the same way. She was trying to get him to break up with me and then get me to break up with him. Well, it worked. As of yesterday, he is a single man. In some of those texts, they are talking about some of the hookups. I feel like throwing up. I blocked him because he was still trying to get in touch, and I ghosted her. but she just sent me a message saying she just heard what happened and,
You know this is probably for the best, right?
and I feel like freaking screaming. I don't know if this is an update or just me venting. Thanks for listening, either way. So things end absolutely just cool. But you know what's nice and what makes me forget that sometimes the internet is a horrible place and deserves to be the reason why we deserve an apocalypse and eradication of human species? Is that there's less comments about pitying and feeling sorry for OP and more praising her. Good riddance to them. I know this must feel awful now, but you were well served to learn this and have both of those pieces of Schmidt out of your life. Yeah, based on your posts and writing, I can tell that you're an intelligent, kind person. You are 100% capable of making your own friends and meeting new people without your best friend's help. I think she knows that too. Perhaps why she felt threatened that you didn't need her help anymore or jealous of your boyfriend. I don't know, but you need to drop them both. Yeah, well, had a horrible experience that your best friend betrayed you and your boyfriend also betrayed you together? Good for you! So glad you decided to kick them both out of your life. To which Opie comes back in an edit. I don't want to sound melodramatic or sappy or anything, but you all brought me to tears. We keep hearing about how it is insanity to rely on the internet for personal connections, but I just lost a boyfriend, a best friend, and a whole group of friends. And instead of feeling alone, I am more and more feeling like, hell yeah, that was the right thing to do. I will be okay. It still hurts, but not as much as it would had I really been alone. So along with all the praise and pride for her, the story doesn't end there. As well, others offer other advice to just fully ghost everyone in this situation, because that'll, especially for this kind of person, just make them stew in it. They want their reaction, but they're gonna get none. They realize they lost all their power, and they're never gonna get to know and feel that satisfaction that comes from getting the reaction they wanted. To which the OP agrees and informs us Jessie is still texting me. I didn't mention one detail because it wasn't important, but we were all traveling together soon. My family paid for some of Jessie's expenses, and she is messaging me about the vouchers since I have them all. This woman can't even wait a day to ask. It's like she suddenly remembered she still needs me. I mean, I am not giving them to her either way. Trip is off. Like, can't she tell? Also, in case there's a question regarding the confusion as to why she's dropping all her friends instead of just the best friend and boyfriend, well, apparently this affair was going on for months. Everyone knew, and nobody had the decency to tell OP. It was only the one friend who wasn't even that close who stood up for me. So there you go, folks. Turns out the closer your friends are, the less likely you can trust them.
Hooray!
In more comments from the OP, it turns out that Jessie is now saying that she liked my boyfriend first, and I was the one who stole him, so she is the one who should be mad. I know I should just block her everywhere, but is it petty that I am having fun watching her squirm? Like, I wanted to have the last word, but not saying anything is driving her crazy. And in case you're wondering, yes, the good friend who is the one who actually confessed everything, it was Pete, again, the one who exposed Jessie in the first place. Turns out he was able to persuade others to send him prints of the texts of the affair happening, and then, yeah, sent it all through. Also, Pete is gay, by the way, just in case anyone jumps the gun like my mom did and think that he was doing this because he's interested in me or something. He's not. He is just a decent person.
Oh, but I'll ship you together. God damn it.
And some other quick clarifying info. She didn't get the exact prints of text between the boyfriend and Jessie specifically, but more so the prints of text between two friends and Jessie and another friend and the boyfriend. Either way, they were all still very clear. But here's the thing. In the text, Jessie especially didn't seem to care about hiding it at all. Boyfriend's texts were mostly wondering if I had noticed something and wanting Jessie to back off, while saying she was hot, etc. There was nothing 100% confirmation on his side. It wasn't a talk between him and one of his closest friends, so it was kind of generic, but when I confronted him, I said I had prints, and without saying what they showed, he just confessed anyway. But that's not where it ends, because a week later we get the final update. I said I'd come back if anything relevant happened. So my ex-boyfriend, trying to get in touch through common friends, they kept asking me to unblock him and at least hear him out, because he was really sorry. He loved me. He was a mess. He didn't mean to. Someone even went as far as to ask me if I was really sure it happened. They offered to send me prints of texts where he was talking about me, so I'd see how he always had great things to say and how much he cared. But I've had it with the print screen drama for life and said no. To the ones who insisted, I told them I wasn't unblocking him, had nothing to say or hear, and if they kept pushing me, I'd block them too. Eventually, I ran into my ex-boyfriend at this book thing I go to often, a hobby of mine. Maybe I'm being presumptuous, but I think he went there for me. He didn't really have any business there, but I'm just speculating really. He asked if I had a few minutes for coffee. I said I was late, which was a lie. He walked me to my car. Oh, he looked so good. He smelled great. He was so sweet. He was even wearing his hair the way I like it. I felt horrible because even after everything, I still like him. He apologized some more, said he knew I needed time and space, but asked if I'd consider giving him another chance, because he would wait for me. He said he would never talk to Jessie again and would act like they had a restraining order against each other. And I just found it really funny how everything he was saying required me trusting him, which I don't. So I told him I wasn't interested anymore and he should move on. I wish I said something snappier or wittier, but I had nothing. This was Saturday. I haven't heard from him or his friends since. I think that was that. Now, Jessie also kept trying to talk to me. Like I told some of you on comments, I had a trip coming up. It would have been me, Jessie, ex-boyfriend, and a few friends. Since Jessie couldn't afford it, my parents paid for most of her expenses. Now, she must have remembered this right after everything went down and panicked because I had everything. Vouchers, confirmation emails, credit card info. She went crazy. Even showed up at my place. I wasn't home and my roommates told her to frick off, exact words. I didn't block her at first because I admit, I was having some fun watching her despair. I talked to my mom and she was amazing. Told me I should cancel everything even if it costed us money, which was fine, so I did. And for one last bit of print screen drama, I printed all the emails I got confirming cancellations and sent those to Jessie with the word bye before blocking her. My roommate has been amazing. We were never really close and now I don't even know why. She canceled plans with her friends to stay with me and invited me to go out with them next weekend. A few of you suggested I see a therapist and I did. Yesterday. I really liked it. It was just one appointment and I mostly just talked, but it felt good. She gave me homework. She talked a little about unhealthy and abusive relationships and asked me to think about my friendship with Jessie and to try to point what was healthy and what was unhealthy about it. Made me realize she was never really my friend. She was taking advantage of me for years and she even had me thanking her for it. Therapist also told me about this saying, I think that's what it is, called the narcissist's prayer, which goes something like, that didn't happen. If it did, it wasn't my fault. If it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, then you deserved it. Which is totally how Jessie is handling this whole thing now. Good riddance indeed. And a final piece of gossip. Pete talked to me yesterday. He is checking up sometimes. He's a good guy. Again, he is gay, in case someone is still thinking this might turn into a romantic comedy. Damn it! He said Jessie was super sure that since I broke things off, she and Dean would hook up right away. But apparently, he doesn't have the same plans, and that freaked her out over the weekend. Pete says he really is a mess and went out drinking hard 4 nights in a row to the point that he had to be carried home by his pals. And yesterday, they all went out for lunch at his burger place. Jessie was going to run her fingers through his hair or something, and he just pushed her away and told her to stop and never touch him again. Oh, great that now he manages to do that, huh? I guess in the end, he really did like me in his sick way. The thing is, I don't want to be with someone who likes me in a sick way. I want to be with someone who likes me in a healthy way. I think I deserve that. Overall, deciding to spend that money that was going to be on the vacation to go somewhere by herself and informing us all that this is likely the final update unless there's anything new to add, which, considering this was 5 years ago, probably not. Yeah, definitely getting some peaked in high school vibes from Jessie here. Extra points to the boyfriend there for justifying sleeping with someone because it was the only way you could get someone to leave you alone. Like, I know the word bound is in boundaries, but that doesn't mean you're meant to apply a kink to it, you know? It's a boundary. It's not a smex thing. You don't need the rope, man. We now come across this fine, gentle woman whose post history betrays the facade of innocence she fails to put in this post alone. Am I the a-hole for telling my friend to back off and let me plan her bachelorette? My friend Alyssa is getting married in a few months, and I'm the maid of honor planning her bachelorette trip. I am in a group chat with all of her friends. Alyssa is not in this group, so I can plan stuff. At the beginning of the month, I asked the girls to go send me their payments for the Airbnb by the end of the month. Some have sent theirs, others not yet, but I'm taking care of it. I forward all the payments to Alyssa since she is booking the Airbnb, and then the rest of us are paying for the rest of the trip. So Alyssa messaged me a few days ago asking if there was anyone else who was planning to send their payments, as we were waiting on a few more girls. I didn't respond to her because I would take care of it. Well, today she messaged me with an update saying she reached out to the remaining girls and told me they were planning to send it. Now, I felt a bit hurt that she went behind my back to take care of it, as I'm the one planning it, and it made me feel like she thinks I can't plan the trip. I told her to back off and asked her why she doesn't trust me, and told her to stay out of the planning. She got offended and told me that I'm taking it too personally and that it's her bachelorette and she's allowed to text her own friends. Now it's been awkward and tense between us. My mom told me I was rude and aggressive for telling her to back off, but I feel like I'm a bit justified. Imagine being told to do a job and someone just does it for you. It makes you wonder if they think you're incompetent. Am I the a-hole? Oh, I know this kind of comment is going to start a bit of a fire in the comments possibly, but that last paragraph... Welcome to the experience of being a guy. Nah, who am I kidding? It's not just guys who experience this. Everyone has a partner who can sometimes be like this. Hey, sometimes you want to vacuum first before you do the dishes rather than vice versa. Doesn't mean you're incompetent, okay? But okay, what do we think at first? It is rather incompetent of her to not respond to the bachelorette with this assumption, by not at all communicating it, that you would take care of it. I mean, if you were going to at least let her know that so she doesn't have to feel like she's completely left on her own to deal with this. But at the same time, if you can't trust someone to do a job, why did you keep designating them to do the job? You're just making them feel like a failure over and over again. It's not really fair on them to put this passive judgment upon their abilities to do a job when you won't even give them the space to do it. I mean, sure, they might not be doing it as exactly the way you want or the particular methods you like it being done, but they're still getting it done. But any thoughts to be on OP's side quickly dissipate when we learn about this. She has another post basically just explaining how jealous she is of her friend who is getting married. OP's life was great apparently up until her friend turned her life around 3 years ago. Also, OP has never had a relationship, which explains a ton about her weird possessive controlling behavior. This post titled, "Am I the a-hole for being jealous and unenthusiastic that my best friend is getting married? I have known my friend since college, and she used to be such a hot mess with guys and dating, and in general, she had so many problems in life and was depressed, but in the past 3 years, her life has turned around so much, and she is different than she used to be. She is more social now, has a lot of friends, is getting married soon, travels a lot. I am happy for her, but also would be lying if I said that sometimes I'm not. I have never had a relationship before, and I'm almost 27 while she is thriving in life. I just moved out of my parents' house and am struggling to make friends. It almost feels like we switched roles, as in college, I used to be very popular and have a lot of friends while she was struggling in life. I do not want her to struggle in life, but just pointing out a fact about how it used to be. She made me her maid of honor, and I am planning lots of things like her bachelorette, bridal shower, etc. And I have moments where I am so excited to plan it and be there for her, but a lot of times I feel bitter and unexcited about how much things are revolving around her, and I know she feels my energy too sometimes because there has been a bit of tension with us. So am I the a-hole for not being the greatest friend during her wedding process? Anyone else ever felt this way? It's interesting because on one hand, I do think she is genuinely just being an a-hole about this all, but on the other hand, it sounds like she herself is actually shocked by this. Like, I think she actually hates how much she hates how good her friend is being right now. It's jealousy that she seems to be herself rather ashamed of. It's not like she's actually wanting to punish the friend for all of this. She's just confused why she's like this, which honestly is actually really healthy of her to be saying about herself. I mean, understandably, this makes others come across this post and realize where the motivation towards that previous post came from. Because here's another point about the whole texting thing. So the bachelorette or bride-to-be was asking about payment so that she could book something for the end of the month. And it seems that Opie's issue about all this is that at the moment, it wasn't the end of the month yet, so it's not like it was a drastic, immediate thing that needed to be picked up on straight away. It's okay if Opie just didn't respond to her until, the next day. To this, I can kind of understand. I theorize, I reckon just a little bit, that OP having this position of responsibility, she feels like it's the only thing in this situation she has some control over, both with her sense of pride and having some value compared to the wonderful life that OP's friend now has. And yet here is the friend sort of micromanaging or pointing out to OP in a subtle way that she actually isn't good at this only thing she feels like she has. And so naturally it's caused OP to respond in a bit of a bitter, snappy way. I mean, ultimately I still think you're the a-hole, but I think it does answer a lot about why the OP is being like this and why I personally don't think she's as monstrous as a maid of honor as people might be assuming she is based on the way she's typed all this. But hey, I might be too forgiving in my thoughts, so let me know about yours if you think she's absolutely the total a-holest of a-holes and deserves every single rejection of friendship and relationships she gets in the future. But with that all said, friends, we might end today's video there. Thank you as always for watching. Love your face for sticking by, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.